In this episode, I'm going to tell you how I fly the Gozanti.
This is the captain. Brace for impact.
So the Gozanti, or the Gozantia, like all other ships, comes with two variants. The first, the Gozanti class cruisers, comes with its Command 1, Squadron 2, Engineering 2, 3-hull, scatter, evade, can go up to speed 3. It has an officer slot, a fleet support slot, an offensive retrofit. It has a black anti-squadron dice, and then out of its two side arcs and its front arc, it has a blue dice for anti-ship, and then it costs 23 points. The other variant, the Gozanti class assault carriers, is exactly the same in pretty much all respects, except it has a red dice out its front arc, and its anti-squadron dice increases to 1 blue instead of 1 black. And for this, it costs 28 points. So unsurprisingly, being the Imperial equivalent to the Rebels GR-75, the Gozantia is used in pretty similar ways. As a result, because of its utility and varied capabilities, much like the GR-75 how to fly, I also, with the Gozanti, really recommend that when you're building a fleet, you'll be pretty easy to find space for at least 2 of them. Great squadron pushers, great support chips, really cheap, good activation. So as a result, whenever you're building an Imperial list, always really consider starting with just 2 Gozantis. So again, the Gozanti comes with 2 titles. The first, Suppressor, for 4 points, is after an enemy ship ends its activation, if it's within distance 1 to 3, you can choose and exhaust one of its defense tokens. And the other is Vector, which for 2 points is when you have a squadron command, either through token or dial, the speed of each squadron without heavy you activate is increased by 1 to a maximum of 5 until the end of its activation. So both of these titles are really good, although you don't see them as often as the Rebel equivalent counterparts, probably because the Gozanti is slightly more expensive. Suppressor you tend to see in Avenger lists, just because it's really, really good for killing a token if someone comes in too close, or you can fly it in really aggressively to force that token flip. Likewise, Vector you often sort of see in Sloan balls, especially with TIE fighters, which are speed 4, because it gives that buff to a full speed 5. However, I don't think either of these titles are sort of in the same way as mandatory as the Rebel equivalent, but they're both really good, and if you have the points for them, do consider them. So unlike the Rebel GR-75, you generally see a bit less variance with the fleet support upgrades on the Gozanti. Often they'll be naked. Most common, if they do have a fleet support, it's a comms net, and it's passing off a token to a big ship like an ISD, or it'll be a repair cruise for similar reasons, either to repair itself as a blocker, or to provide repair support for a big ship, again, normally an ISD. So again, much like the GR-75, the 2 offensive retrofit slots that you see on a Gozanti is either boosted comms or expanded hangar bays. However, these days, with the prevalence of Gendon or of the Lambda shuttle with relay, both of them with the relay 2, you really generally don't see boosted comms for obvious reasons, because they only have squadron value 2. On the other hand, you can, however, see sometimes an expanded hangar bay Gozanti, and we'll cover a specific build for that a little bit later in the video. So something of a niche build in terms of how often you see it, but it's really effective and really annoying, is taking a Gozanti cruiser, the 23-point cheap one, slapping Minister Tour and taking ECMs on it, and then throwing on Suppressor. Obviously, you're taking Minister Tour to put ECMs on it so that you just always have scatter. Should be self-explanatory why this is really annoying, because it means it is quite possibly the ultimate blocker, as it can happily sit in the front arc of anything except for something with advanced gunnery or multiple shots, and just take it, because it's always going to have scatter. So a nasty little specific build that you'll often see for a pair of Gozantis in conjunction with normally Colonel Gendon and a generic Lambda shuttle, or 2 generic shuttles, is taking expanded hangar bays on both of them, and then giving each of them one of either Taskmaster Grint, Commandant Oresco, or Wolf Yularen. Basically, the point of this is, so the officer is just giving you permanent squadron token generation, and expanded hangar bays increases your squadron value by 1 as well. So as a result, you can do Squadron 4 off each Gozanti, which means with Relay 4, you can be on anywhere in the board with both of these Gozantis, commanding 8 squadrons. Really, really nice combo if you can afford to set up the relay, and really, really interesting way to fly them. Unlike the GR75 though, most commonly Gozantis will either be naked, or if they have any upgrade, it'll just be a comms net. Now, part of this might be because of they're a bit more expensive compared to the Rebel transport, but really the main reason is because once you include Colonel Jendon or even a generic Lambda shuttle, you have Relay 2, which means they're perfectly good squadron pushers just with that singular squadron upgrade. So, as said, much like the GR75, the two main roles you see Gozantis being used for is squadron pushers and support ships. With squadron pushing, however, the GR75s, through the Imperial power of Relay 2, you'll generally see them flown in the complete opposite direction of the battle, way out of the fight, as far away from danger as they can be, and using that relay to full effect. So in this instance, the Gozantis are way away from the Corvette, but through the power of relay, they're going to send in Marek, and in a little over a turn and a half to 2 turns, they'll happily destroy that Corvette without any other intervention. For the support role, on the other hand, a lot more similar to the Rebel equivalent, you're basically just keeping them in range of the ship they're supporting. So again, with comms net being a bit more common than repair crews, you're extending that range out to distance 5. So you'll often see Gozantis trailing behind an ISD or interdictor, palming them, normally engineering tokens, to keep them in the fight. And then the other use of the support ship, in particular if you're running that nasty ECM tour build we're talking about, is as blockers. Again, really combos up well with big heavy hitters like ISDs, as it allows you to pin them in place and just do good old hammer and anvil tactics. Again, to see further on this, look to our how to block video. So you might have noticed that this how to fly video is going to be a pretty short one, but that's because the Gozanti is a really simple, useful and effective ship. As said, you're basically going to run them either naked or just with CommsNet, and you're going to run them in one of two ways. You're either going to be using relay through, again, probably through Colonel Jendon just because he's so good, to push some squadrons at whatever range you want because you have relay 2, or you're going to be in support range of whatever big ship you're palming tokens off to. Now, again, you can be a bit more tricksy with it. You can take, like 2 relays to get that relay 4 and do that combo we talked about. But, often you want to have a plan how to do this. That being said, just a naked Gozanti or a Gozanti with CommsNet is a really good addition to any Imperial fleet. The key thing to keep in mind, like we mentioned in the GR75 video, is because they only have 3 hull and only have a scatter and evade, you want to try and keep them out of danger because they will fold to anything over a gentle breeze. Otherwise though, they're a really user-friendly ship and a really, really good addition to any Imperial fleet. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is Intel Officer Luke. I'm going to be signing off. Support us on Patreon. Let us know what you thought about this video. Let us know how your regional results have been going, what you're thinking about Wave 7 now that it's arrived, other videos you'd like to see, and all of the above. But yeah, this is Intel Officer Luke, signing off.